Hello, it's Bryan here from thegreatgooddino.com and creator of transformyourlifenow.com. Thanks for stopping by. Now, in this video, I'm going to take another closer look at one of my quote images and the point behind it. And for this time around, the image and the point I'm going to be looking at is this one. There are plenty of people waiting to tell you you're not good enough. Don't put yourself at the front of the queue. Now, I took that picture down at Whitstable on the North Kent coast here in Great Britain, and it was a lovely summer sunset. The tide was out, saw the flat seabed there. Nice little picture, and it goes well with the words. And the words were prompted by a program I saw years ago, which was called How to Look Good Naked, and it was by a lifestyle coach and fashion designer called Youre on TV here. And part of the show every week was that he would get the woman who was featured in that episode to stand in her underwear in a lineup of 5 or 6 other women in their underwear, and he would ask the woman to, all the other models would be of different sizes, and he would ask the woman being featured to place herself where she thought she was size-wise in the lineup. And every time the woman would get the sizing wrong, she would put herself in a position in the lineup that was bigger than she actually was. So Youre would say to her, there's plenty of people waiting to say you're fat. Don't put yourself at the front of the queue. Don't add inches to your waist that aren't actually there. And I loved that concept, and that's why I've used it as a point that I coach people about, and I'm using it in this image and in this video. There are plenty of people in the queue waiting to tell you you're not good enough. Some of them might say it behind your back. They might imply it with drip comments. They might say it behind your back, or they might have no problem in actually coming out and saying it right to your face. They might be people you work with, might be your friends, might be your family, it might be complete strangers. Now that's quite a list of people who telling you you're not good enough. Now, why are they telling you you're not good enough, and what are you going to do about it? Well, why they might be telling you is they might genuinely not think you're good enough. They might genuinely think that you don't have the skills, that it's not going to work for you, or that you're getting ideas above your station, that you've got some sort of fancy pants goal that you've set that should only be reserved for other people. They might tell you you're not good enough because they know that if you realise you are good enough and do something about it, you're going to end up leaving them behind. So they, instead of seeing you grow and move forwards and possibly leave them behind, they would rather you stayed where you were so that they don't get left behind. And one of the ways that they go about that is making you think that you're not good enough to do anything about it, or to make changes, or to move forwards. Now, when there is that list of people telling you that you're not good enough, friends, family, co-workers, or complete strangers, there's someone else who might not be telling you you're good enough that I haven't mentioned yet, and that is yourself. Oh, why do you do it? Why do you put yourself, why do people put themselves at the front of the queue? They're the first people to tell themselves that they're not good enough. They say it to themselves in their self-talk, in the strongest language, in the nastiest language, in the harshest words, in the most negative way possible. So many people do it. I've done it. I've been guilty of it myself in the past. And why do we do it? Why do we put ourselves at the front of the queue? Well, it's something that we're used to doing, and it's a bit of a comfort blanket, a bit of an excuse, Because if we tell ourselves we're not good enough, then we can use that as the get out clause, as a reason for not facing the difficulties that might come along, or that will come along, when we follow our goals, decide that we're going to live a life in line with our passions, to make changes, to live a life that makes us feel more alive. That can be difficult. It most likely will be difficult. We have fears of not being good enough. We have fears that we don't have the skills. We have fears that we fail. So there's a comfort blanket, and it's a comfort blanket we can snuggle into if we tell ourselves that we're not good enough, so we don't have to try. But actually, deep down, it's not very comfortable, is it? It might be comfortable in the short term, might be comfortable in the medium term, but in the long term, it's going to have a drip, 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 drip effect that we know we're not living a life that fulfills us, that is in touch, lifts our soul, that is in touch with our passions, that what makes us feel alive. And if we know that that's the case, the drip drip effect will bring us down and has a bad impact on us over the years. And in fact, it can have a real physical health impact detrimentally over the years. So, what can we do about it? Well, if we're going to be telling the other people who tell us we're not going to be good enough, that long queue of people, if we're going to be challenging them, the first thing we need to do is to challenge ourselves, to challenge our self-talk, and to stop putting ourselves at the front of the queue. And we do that by starting another queue, and it's the queue that says that we are good enough. It's the queue that tells us we are worthy of our goals, and we're worthy of doing something about it. And we're entitled to live a life in line with our passions, our joys, what makes us feel alive. If we don't know how to do something, we're going to find out and we're going to learn how to do it. If it's going to take work for us to do it, we're going to put in the work. If it's difficulty, we're going to take on those difficulties. And when it comes to the other people telling ourselves that we're not good enough, we're going to start to challenge them. And we're going to say, you know what? That queue isn't around anymore. Get yourselves behind the new queue, which has me at the front of it. Tell these other people, your friends, your co-workers, your family, strangers, be prepared to challenge them when they tell you you're not good enough, and be prepared to ask them why they think you're not good enough, and actually tell them you are good enough and challenge them to deny you. It's a fantastic experience, and actually what you'll find is a lot of people will be supportive and encouraging when you take that new mindset, and they will come on board and follow you along for the ride. Other people, less so. They might carry on with the negativity because of that jealousy maybe that I mentioned earlier, and it could be that as time goes on, you leave them behind. Either they will choose to no longer associate with them, or maybe you have to choose to no longer associate with them. Now, that isn't always simple, because sometimes it's friends you've known for a long time, sometimes it's family, and it may be very, very difficult. It might be not possible to leave them behind completely. But if that's the case, what you can do is leave their negativity behind in your mind. And that's a choice. It's a choice that everyone has, it's a choice that you have, and it's a choice that you can do something about right now. The results in your life, you might not be able to change those right now, but you can change your attitude right now, today. As you're watching this video, you might decide that it's time to stop putting yourself at the front of that queue of people telling yourself you're not good enough. You're not going to put yourself at the front of that queue anymore. And today's the day you start that new position that you are good enough, and everyone else, including yourself, had better get on board. So, hope you enjoyed that message. If you did enjoy that message, let me know. Leave a comment below wherever you happen to be seeing this video. Make sure you're connected with me on the power of the internet webs. whether that's my blog at thegreatgordino.com or Facebook, which is my social media channel of choice, and my username there is The Great Gordino. Or I've got my pages there, facebook.com, The Great Gordino newsletter, or facebook.com/Your Life Transforming. So it's Gordon Bryan signing off. Stop putting yourself at the front of that queue. Start a new queue. Make the decision. Take the actions. It can transform your life.